It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Meantime Brewing Company in London, and this is a can of their Easytime Lager. Doesn't that sound great? If ever you needed a beer to sound great when you're really thirsty, it's that Easytime Lager. I really like that. Of course, Meantime London, Greenwich Mean Time, where all of the clocks in the world, I think, began many moons ago. It kind of works with that name too, doesn't it? Easytime. It's a 330ml can. Let's get it out into a glass, see what we get. I picked this up in... started to get them mixed up lately. I'm getting B&M and Home Bargains mixed up. I picked this up in Home Bargains. It was about £1. Meantime Brewing Company, of course. Well, I say of course. I shouldn't really say of course. I know Meantime Brewing Company for their absolutely terrific porter. They used to produce, I hope they still produce, their porter. Brilliant beer, brilliant beer. They used to come in like in a 330 bottle, but like a chamfered, almost like an old-fashioned chimney type bottle years ago. They were brilliant. Check out my review of Meantime Porter. You'll see the old style bottles that they once had. Everything's gone into cans these days. It seems like the whole beer market has shifted into cans. One finger, white head, good levels of carbonation, light straw coloured beer. It looks okay. It looks okay. I mean, for 4% ABV, it should be a very quaffable, a very drinkable, refreshing beer. Let's get the aroma. Yeah, it's got a slight Pilsner aroma to it, but I'm picking up a little bit of juicy, fleshy orange. Zesty lemon. Touch of spice. Smells really, really good. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Oh, lovely. Crisp, crisp, crisp. Really clean, really refreshing. Lovely. Lovely. Straight out the fridge, this one. It hasn't had any time to warm up. But I decided to get it straight out the fridge today, and I decided to crack my camera up because it's boiling hot. It's July out there, and all of a sudden summer has decided. In the UK, summer switches itself off and switches itself back on again during summertime. Some days it's like 14 degrees and raining, and then there's other days where it's 25 degrees and fantastic sunshine, but your body can't kind of cope with it. It's like one minute you're happy with your hat on and maybe your jacket, and then the next minute you're stripping off to your underpants. And the fluctuations with the heat just makes, well, I don't know about you guys, but it makes me just want to crack a beer open and enjoy. It's nicely carbonated. It's very, very refreshing. Nice spicy bitterness on the back end. I like that 4% ABV. I gotta be honest, normally, I'd say anything, I mean, if you were talking to me about Stella going from 5.2 down to 5, down to 4.7, and if you were talking to me about Carling Black Label, where it went from 4.5 to 4.2, now it's down to something crazy like 3.9, 4%. Those sort of situations make me really angry because they're messing around with the original kind of recipe, what the beer was to begin with. But when a beer comes in at 4% ABV, when it's designed to be 4% ABV, you can design the hops around it. You can design like what you want this beer to taste like. And the benefit of this beer being 4% ABV is that they put quite a few hops in here. So it's still very, very refreshing. You get a little bit of light malt coming through, and then you get that lovely kind of, so that sweetness, the light wafer-like malts to begin with. fantastic drinkability at 4%, but then you've got the hops kicking in towards the back end of the palate. That's like kind of lemon and slightly orangey flavours coming through, and a peppery and a spiciness and a bitterness. So it makes the beer perfectly balanced. It's a balanced beer between that sweetness and that bitterness over there. It's like a hand glider flying down from the valley there down to its destination. But a really balanced beer, a really controlled beer, a really nice beer. I'm a really big fan of it. That's what I'm trying to say here. Ever since I mentioned the bottle earlier on, it wasn't meant to be in the review, but I'm going to bring it into the review. Ever since I mentioned that old style bottle that Meantime used to put their beers in, I think Meantime are probably one of the breweries that didn't benefit from putting their beer in cans. Lots of the other breweries used the generic... Do I have one? Yeah. The generic like 330ml bottles. Or 500ml bottles, like so. And that's okay. When you go into can, you've got a point of difference, a big point of difference. It's all about kind of like you get much more writing on the can. The can looks more appealing. There's no light getting here whatsoever. It's light. It's easily recyclable. Plus, it's not. If you're carrying a bag full of bottles, it's quite heavy down to the beach or something. Whereas you could pack a bag of cans and it's a lot lighter, much lighter. Now, what I want to say on that note is, Meantime had a fantastic bottle. They had their own point of difference. When I went into Waitrose to pick up some beers, you'd always see the Meantime bottles like chamfering up, and the beer was always really good, and it was always, that's a Meantime beer. It had a point of difference because it had a different style bottle from any other bottle out there. And I think they've taken that advantage away by putting their beer in cans. I really do. I think they should bring their bottles back. I really do. The beer is great. But there's such a vast array of cans now in the supermarket shelves and in your local bottle shops that it's very hard, I think, to look at this and go, that's the beer I want. That's the beer I want. Because it just blends in to all of the other cans that are on the shelves. There's nothing quite jumping out on this can for me, even though the beer in the glass is terrific. So, if Mr. Alistair Hook watches this video of this Meantime London Easytime Lager at 4% ABV, then hopefully my little bit of constructive criticism in the packaging department can go to the packaging department boss, or maybe himself, and have a look at it. Because I think going back to the bottles would be a massive point of difference. You would go back to, I think you would bring back people who probably bought Meantime when they were just in them bottles, and they had that massive point of difference. People might go, Meantime are back, when they never really disappeared anywhere, did they? Rating. I like it. It's a very drinkable lager, very refreshing, nicely balanced. The beer is an 8 out of 10. The beer is an 8 out of 10 all day long. They just got to sort their packaging out, I think. Thanks for watching. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.